starts right now.
5100, I know you're busy, but let's make sure we get CSI out here at Walmart.
Shots fired outside of a local Walmart, and tonight we're hearing how police responded and where they found the shooting victims.
And tonight, new video from inside a Bexar County home at the center of a human smuggling bust. What led deputies to the property and why the sheriff says this is part of a growing problem. But first,
we want to get to that breaking story that we first pushed out to your phone on the KSAT app. San Antonio police need your help finding the man that you see on your screen. He's 71-year-old Jesus Dominguez Ontiveros.
Yeah, officers say he has a medical condition and may be in danger. He needs to be found. He was last seen yesterday on Matthews Avenue. That's near Castroville Road and 24th Street on the city's west side. Police released his picture tonight. They also say he has several notable characteristics. One of them being he's missing the right half of a pointer finger. If you know where he is, if you've seen him, call San Antonio Police Department's Missing Persons Unit at 210-207-7660.
Tonight, Bexar County Sheriff's deputies still trying to untangle the details behind a human smuggling bust.
Several dozen people found on a property this afternoon in Atascosa. That's in the far southwest corner of the county. This is not a first for the unincorporated community. Deputies made a similar bust on the same road just a few months ago. The sheriff says deputies are keeping a close eye on the Atascosa area, given a dramatic uptick in crime there.
So right now they're looking for one suspect, 24-year-old Christopher Abrego. They already have a woman in custody. Deputies found active warrants for Abrego and 50-year-old Agustina Jean Cabrera.
The night team's John Paul Barajas has followed the latest on this raid since we broke it during the 5 o'clock news. He has new video from inside that home for us tonight.
So we've had a series of shootings. We've had some running gun battles out here. I mean, stuff that we're out here in the sticks, man. I mean, it's a very rural area and very quiet area.
We're getting our first look inside the house where Bexar County deputies say they found a human smuggling operation. Sheriff Javier Salazar estimates 35 to 39 men were inside this home on Briggs Road. Some of the men saying they hadn't eaten in 6 days.
They've never seen it like this.
Deputies watching the property attempted to stop a car as it left. The driver took off on foot but left two girls inside, a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old who thought they were going to Dallas. The sheriff believes they were actually going to be trafficked. He adds the driver got away, but a woman believed to be his getaway driver did not. Both were wanted in connection with an animal cruelty case involving a tiger.
The man that's still at large is the other suspect from that tiger case. So we'll catch up to him at some point.
As for the men found inside the home, it's still not clear who's a suspect and who's a victim.
Well, we've got several arrests now that are within the group. They do a good job of trying to blend in with the victims, right? So we don't know who the coyote is and who the victims are. But fortunately, we do a pretty good job of talking to the victims, and they point out to us in many cases who's who.
The sheriff says they did confiscate 3 stolen trucks, but no drugs or guns. But that was before this corner house was searched. We are still waiting to hear exactly what was found in that house. But while we were out here, we did see what looked like to be a hunting rifle being taken into evidence. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
John Paul, thank you. Now, there are other migrants showing up along the border. One mother says that she risked her life and the lives of her 2 sons to escape the gang violence in Honduras. And now she's hopeful after making it to the Rio Grande Valley.
I feel happy and relief because the journey to cross the border is horrible.
The 29-year-old mother says that they didn't always have food during their journey. She also shared incidents of abuse, including a time where she was thrown into a trash can. Her 2 kids, you can probably see them there, are 5 and 8 years old. The Catholic Charities Respite Center in McAllen is helping that family, and the family is hoping to meet with other relatives in Houston as their asylum case gets underway.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott also adding to this developing story on immigration. During a roundtable discussion in Houston, the governor made a comment about changing funding when it comes to public education and whether undocumented students should be educated in Texas. KIPP Texas Public Schools taking issue with that comment. It's a story we're following online. You can read it on KSAT.com. New details in that shooting outside of San Antonio Walmart. We are now hearing what officers faced after someone shot at 2 customers who had just walked out of that store.
We're getting a report of multiple people in the rear of Walmart, possibly 50 people hiding in the rear.
The store shut its doors after someone fired shots outside the building near West Military and Loop 410. The suspect or suspects got away. Officers say the woman who was shot and a second victim drove 2 miles away before they called police.
We might have 2 victims. Might be a male in the red car.
They were actually found at a home on Stone Fence Road. Officers say both victims expected to survive. They say the shooting appears to be a random act. Investigators are now reviewing surveillance video to try to find the suspects.
You're not supposed to bring a gun to school. We all know this. That's what got a parent in huge trouble. The principal at Highland Elementary School says that it happened yesterday. An officer detained the parent who was visiting the SAISD school. Police secured the weapon, and the school's principal sent parents a letter referencing the new permitless carry law, saying that while the license requirement has been removed, firearms are never allowed on school property or on any grounds where school activities are taking place. By the way, the parent in this case is facing a third-degree felony charge.
A different area, but a familiar crime tonight. New Braunfels police now looking into a rash of thefts involving a certain car part, catalytic converters. They arrested 3 people just last night. Now they're looking for the victims. Officers say the suspects had 9 catalytic converters and the tools to saw them off. Thieves target those converters for the precious metals inside. If you were in the New Braunfels area and were a victim in these recent thefts, call 830-221-4165.
A new idea when it comes to rising property taxes. One San Antonio councilwoman wants people to reduce their taxes through volunteer work. Now, this would only apply to seniors. Councilwoman Terry Castillo submitted that idea for review this week. The volunteer work would consist of doing things like organizing books at libraries or helping with classes at senior and community centers. It would allow seniors to earn $7.25 an hour, and if they do 42 hours over a year, that could reduce their tax bill by $300.
And $300 to $500 is nothing to sneeze at for many of our seniors in the city of San Antonio. That's the difference between their utilities, groceries, medication, or all of the above.
But this isn't a done deal just yet. That request still needs to go through the council's governance committee. Castillo wants to put her proposal together pretty soon so that it's considered for next year's budget.
And now for a look at your headlines in your Nightbeat news flash. Police now 24 hours into their search for the suspect in a hit and run at a local McDonald's. A fight between 2 women escalated in the parking lot of the restaurant. It was on South WW White Road and I-10, the McDonald's there. Officers say one woman used her SUV to ram into the other one repeatedly and then took off. The victim rushed to the hospital. Still no arrests in this case. A woman taking a plea deal in a deadly drunk driving case. 19-year-old Melanie Gaitan hit and killed a mother who was just sitting at a bus stop. That victim actually on her way to start a new job when she was hit. Gaitan pleading no contest to a lesser charge of manslaughter, sentenced to 8 years in prison. As part of the deal, Gaitan not eligible to appeal this sentencing in this case. Another tradition finally returning to San Antonio after the pandemic began, and it involves tiny homes. The students at Northside ISD's Construction Careers Academy gain experience by building them. They'll now show off their work this Saturday at Warren High School. Some visitors have been known to buy the students' work. One of the homes is nicknamed the New Yorker. It includes a sink, a stove, and a mini fridge. Other projects on display include sheds and deer blinds. And that's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash.
That New York one is probably still bigger than my old apartment. All right. So it started as an unusual find in a Texas thrift store and turned out to be a piece of valuable art. The story behind that sculpture, which you can see now in San Antonio.
And plus, pop-up food pantries. We take a look at a 24-hour operation helping to feed families in San Antonio.
And a woman convicted in a murder for hire plot takes the stand. What she wants a Bexar County jury to consider before she's sentenced. That story is next on the Nightbeat. Fear. It's why a woman convicted of hiring an undercover officer to kill her boyfriend's sister says she did it. Angelico Navarro Diaz says that says that she was afraid of what could happen to her and her kids. Right now, the trial is in the punishment phase.
El secuestro,
yes, sir.
El rape de mis hijos.
The kidnapping, my children's rape.
Me sacaban dinero, me ponían pistolas. ¿Cómo quieren que yo no tuviera miedo y no tenga miedo?
They took my money, they put guns to me. How do you want me to not be afraid and I'd still be afraid?
Prosecutors say that audio recordings show Navarro de Paz made the deal because she was owed $40,000. Now, Navarro de Paz is facing between 5 to 99 years or life in prison.
Battling hunger pains with a pantry, a new effort to feed families in Harlandale ISD launches tomorrow. The partnership between the district and Community First Health Plans aims to bring food where it's needed most, make it accessible anytime. But as the Night Team's Patty Santos explains, this will benefit more than just those in need.
The need in the Harlandale ISD community is great.
Growing up in that school district, I'm very familiar with that. Yes, it is a poor community.
Teresa Shapansky, Community First Health Plans president and CEO, knows it firsthand. She's a product of Harlandale ISD. The nonprofit has committed to putting 14 food pantries in each of the district's campuses, making non-perishable foods available 24/7.
We're also supplying other items like diapers, baby wipes, water, other toiletries.
The first one will be at Gilbert Elementary School. The nonprofit has already installed 14 pantries across San Antonio, but this marks their first of many partnerships with schools.
So we've received calls from SAISD, from East Central, and also Region 20. The exciting thing about Region 20 is the fact that they're really interested in hosting pantries in the rural communities.
But these food pantries are not just for those who need, it's also for some of you who want to give. On its website, the nonprofit has listed all the places where you can find one of these boxes.
Harlandale reports 85% of its families are financially stretched.
We have a lot of families that, the parents have 2 or 3 jobs at times, and they're just trying to make ends meet.
The district ranks in the bottom 21 out of more than 1,000 state districts in poverty wealth. Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
The food pantry at Gilbert Elementary, just the first in the new partnership. A total of 14 are set to open at Harlandale ISD campuses over the summer. When they do open, they'll be stocked while kids are out of school.
So this is fascinating. The newest piece on display at the San Antonio Museum of Art actually came from a Goodwill bin. Seriously. And that's just part of this really unusual history. That marble bust that you're looking at dates back to late 1st century BC to early 1st century AD. So yeah, it's old. This appeared during World War II, and no one knows how that bust eventually wound up in an Austin Goodwill, but that's where an art collector found it, and today it debuted at the Museum of Art. And you can actually see it there through next year before it goes back to Germany.
Do you see the little sticker they put on the head, like when it was strapped in the back?
I like
the Goodwill sticker.
Well, I like the seatbelt.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, the
Okay.
price tag.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
what a find
big
at a
time.
Goodwill.
Big time.
All right, live cam outside right now. It is a beautiful night.
Yes,
Love that shot.
Yeah, live look from Sky 12 right now over downtown. 76 degrees tonight. Not too shabby.
No, not at all. And a few locations picked up some rain earlier this evening. So we'll take a look at that and compare it to the most recent drought monitor as well. But the storms are done for the evening. And actually, a sunny stretch of weather is going to commence tomorrow. We're going to start the day at sunrise. A lot of sunshine, and then that's going to carry us all the way through the weekend with record challenging heat on the way. Starting tomorrow, we'll be in the mid 90s. 96 is what we're forecasting. The record high, 99 tomorrow. So it's possible we could briefly hit that record, but not probable. Whereas Saturday, the record high is 100, and that's our forecast, 100 degrees. And on Sunday, Mother's Day, looks like we'll be right near 100 as well. Okay, I want to take a look at the newest drought monitor, and we're starting with last week's. That's why I put that big on the screen on the right-hand side. This is last week. I like to give you a little bit of a benchmark. I'm going to slowly transition it here into the most recent one that was issued today. Some parts fell deeper into drought. Other parts of our area actually had improvements. Improvements, particularly LaSalle County and McMullen County. South of San Antonio, we had some improvements, but the extreme drought spread further to the east with this newest drought monitor. For the state as a whole, we dropped 2 percentage points for the coverage of drought in this state. So there were some improvements statewide, but still 80% of Texas considered in drought. Now we put the radar on top of it. This is yesterday evening. Yesterday we were tracking these thunderstorms. Look, they moved right over a very drought-stricken part of South Texas here, right along Highway 90. And then earlier today, we had a few thunderstorms. Gillespie County, very drought-stricken Gillespie County, into Blanco County, and then Guadalupe County as well. Comal County, Canyon Lake got clipped by that, generally under half an inch from that thunderstorm that we had earlier this evening northeast of San Antonio. Let's talk temperatures. 87, that was our high today, but we're going to crank it up. We know that. 76 now, dew point is 65, wind out of the northeast at 5 miles per hour. Temperatures across the state, well, we're mostly right now in the 80s and 70s. 79 Junction, 71 in Austin, 77 Carrizo Springs, and officially right now in San Antonio, 76. But you go to Stinson, still at 83 degrees. Tomorrow morning, we're going to start the day in the 60s. I'm thinking mid to upper 60s for most of us. So about 64 in Bulverde, Divine 69. By tomorrow afternoon, we're back into the 90s. 97 Divine and Castroville. Our forecast officially for San Antonio at the airport, the official reporting site, 96. But I mean, we could be 98, 99, especially in the southern portion of Bexar County tomorrow. And if we hit 100 this weekend, which we are predicting, it would be early compared to average by about 8 weeks. Usually we have our first 100-degree day at the end of June or into the first day of July. Here's our KSAT 12-hour forecast. Nothing but sunshine tomorrow, 66 at sunrise, and then by the noon hour we get to 87 degrees, total sunshine, and we boost into the mid-90s tomorrow. But this is going to be with a lack of humidity. That's the key. One reason why our temperatures are jumping so much is that our humidity is going to plummet a bit during the hottest hours in the afternoon. Remember, the dry air heats up more efficiently? Well, in turn, we're going to be in the mid-90s tomorrow, and then 100 degrees Saturday and Sunday. So we're not looking at big heat indices or heat index values because of a little drop in the afternoon humidity levels. And that's, again, one reason why we're going to warm up, because that dry air heats up so efficiently. But there's that record challenging heat. Hey, would you look at that? That record challenging heat all the way. You got to see how the sausage is made a little bit there.
It's got our heads spinning.
Back now.
Our heads are spinning with all this heat.
No, don't go that way. Go the other way.
Yeah, that's all right. 100 degrees Saturday and Sunday. And the record is, again, 100.
And then 102.
102.
Wow.
We're going to be very close to that.
Bring it on.
Aye. All right. So last night, you had breaking news about Jerry Jones getting into a car accident. How is he doing tonight?
Yeah, that's a big question. Well, by all accounts, he's actually doing very well tonight. The big question this evening is, who was driving? Was it Jerry or his bodyguard? And when we come back, the high school baseball playoffs underway.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
As we told you first last night on the Nightbeat, Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones was involved in a traffic accident and was taken to a hospital as a precautionary measure. But now he's at his home this afternoon and this evening and resting. The 79-year-old president and general manager of the Cowboys was involved in the car crash last night, shortly after 8 at the intersection of Wolf and Harry Hines Boulevard, if you are familiar with that area in Dallas. But it is unclear if Jones is driving the car that was involved in the traffic accident. In the past, Jones's bodyguard would normally drive Jones, but we don't know if that was the case this time last night. Jones' stay in the hospital, according to the Dallas Morning News, was a short one. He was back at home a couple of hours later. Now, one of the biggest needs the Cowboys had to fill in the 2022 NFL draft was a tight end position. That's after they released the injured Blake Jarwin. And the Cowboys feel they got their man when they selected Jake Ferguson out of Wisconsin with the 129th overall selection in the 4th round. Remember, Dalton Schultz, who the rookie will play behind, is only guaranteed 1 year since Schultz took the franchise tag at $10.9 million. And the reason why the Cowboys were so hot on Ferguson, in his words, he spoke to head coach Mike McCarthy at the NFL Combine that he's smart, tough, and dependable, the 3 words they go by at Wisconsin.
Had a chance to visit him at the Combine, and they had really good grades on him. I think his versatility, both on the ball, off the ball, tough guy, grew up in it. Really liked his attitude and his demeanor. I think he's an excellent fit for our guys.
All right, even though the Houston Texans did not draft a quarterback, they have signed another one anyway. Kevin Hogan now becomes the fourth quarterback on the Texans roster, with Davis Mills designated as a starter and Kyle Allen and Jeff Driscoll battling to be who is his backup. One reason why they had Hogan may be his common history with Mills at Stanford. Hogan played for David Shaw from 2012 to 2015, who had been the Cardinal coach since 2011. Mills also played under Coach Shaw, and now Texans offensive coordinator Pep Hamilton was also the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach when Hogan was at Stanford, and the Texans are hoping Hogan can help Mills with Hamilton's scheme going forward. Former UTSA Roadrunner kicker Hunter Duplessis has received an invite to the Denver Broncos rookie minicamp. First-team All-Conference USA member, was a three-time Conference USA Player of the Week. His super senior season, Duplessis set UTSA single-season records at 24 field goals, 63 extra points, 135 points scored, 89 kickoffs, and 38 touchbacks, and ranked 6th nationally. Now, after going undrafted, the Broncos have decided to give him a shot. Good luck to Hunter. Gary Payton, the second of the Golden State Warriors, will miss the next month with a fractured left elbow, with his only chance to play in the postseason is if the Warriors make it all the way to the NBA Finals. Payton was injured when he was flying to the basket, only to have the Grizzlies' Dylan Brooks hit his head with his forearm, and Payton crashed to the court, fracturing his left elbow. Brooks was ejected from the game, is now suspended for Game 3 on Saturday. This is the second flagrant two-foul ejection in this series after Draymond Green hit Brandon Clark in the head and then pulled him to the floor in Game 1. Green was also ejected from that game. Phil Mickelson had gambling debts that totaled more than $40 million from 2010 to 2014, according to excerpts released from a biography written by Alan Shipnuck and set to be released on May the 17th. According to that unauthorized biography, federal investigators uncovered those massive gambling debts when they were investigating Lefty's role in insider trading that sent Billy Walters to prison. And now, according to ESPN, he's writing a book of his own. Mickelson has been off the PGA Tour since his controversial words he spoke after the final round of the Saudi International, saying, in effect, it was worth getting involved with the Saudis, despite the human rights record there, if it meant gaining leverage to get what he wanted from the PGA. High school baseball playoffs coming up next. High school baseball playoffs begin this evening with the Class 5A by district round. Alamo Heights hosting Georgetown in Game 1 of the best-of-3 series. Bottom of the second, run on first for the Mules. That is Parks Zunker puts the ball in play, but the Eagles turn a double play for the second straight inning. Keep it scoreless. Top of the third, Georgetown put a runner on first thanks to an error, and then make the Mules pay. E.J. Davis powers one deep to the gap in right center. Just gets past the center fielder's glove. Zach Zavala scores the opening run. It's 1-0 Georgetown. They lead 3-0 heading in the bottom of the seventh. Mules bring the tying run to the plate, but they can't get it a hit. Georgetown wins Game 1 3-0. And registration is underway for the first annual Lieutenant Colonel Hector Villarreal Memorial Golf Tournament on May 23rd at Silver Horn. Player check-in starts at 6:30 in the morning. Shotgun start featuring a Florida Scramble will begin at 7:45 a.m. with an award ceremony to follow. We will leave it a bit up there a little bit longer so you can get that QR code and get it all signed up. This will all benefit, by the way, the San Antonio Coalition for Veterans and Families. So if you'd like to sign up, you can do that now because they're kind of closing in on that window to get the registration completed.
A great cause.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg.
And we'll be right back.
I talked about the dew point trend tomorrow earlier, and you'll notice the humidity in the morning. By the afternoon and early evening, it's going to fall off a bit, and it's that little bit of drier air that mixes downward during the afternoon in these situations that heats up efficiently. So mid-90s tomorrow, right around 100 degrees Saturday and Sunday with nothing but sunshine. And unfortunately, still a dry pattern into next week. And we'll shave off a few degrees. 97 Monday, and then down into the lower 90s by the middle of next week.
All right, Adam, thank you.
That's it for the Night Beat. Thanks for joining us.
Have a wonderful night. We'll see you tomorrow.